Hello, my name is Dan Johnson, and welcome back to the Who podcast. I am back again in the year 2025 to do another series of podcast episodes, and of course, I am joined by Will today. We're going to talk about
Hello.
season 2. We have the first, technically the first 5. We have the first 4 that have aired. By the time that you're listening to this at home, we will be heading towards episode 6. But Will has
Sorry.
the camera's on even on. It doesn't matter if your zipper's down.
Anyway, shall we get on with
Anyway,
this?
yes. So, Will,
Because it's been 45 minutes.
It has been 45.
We've had mega technical issues.
So, Will, do you want to start off with a bit of a generalization, sort of just a few things that kind of apply to every episode that we've got so far before we go through them individually?
What?
Do you know, is there a few things that stand out as this series as a whole?
Oh, it's so much better.
Yeah? What's better about it?
The companion.
Yeah, well, I mean...
writing.
The writing. Shooty.
Pacing. Shooty.
Yeah. I mean, it's weird to think that his episodes hadn't actually aired yet. You're like, he hadn't made an appearance on screen as the... Oh, no, he would have done, but in the giggle. And he must be... Towards the end of the season, he must have had his first... his first Christmas special would have come out. But...
Well, because they were filming Lux when it was coming out. Because I remember the set for the leaked photos, whatever you want to call it, the location photos.
Wasn't it the 60th?
They came...
I think they filmed... The scenes from Robot Revolution were filmed during the 60th.
Well, yeah, because I'm sure that's Donna's house. But
It is Donna's house. But obviously... It's just weird that they were... I think it was like the Monday after. So the 27th.
Yeah, it's so weird. It sounds...
Something like that.
It sounds like... Oh, do you mean they were filming Robot when the 60th was coming out?
Yeah, like physically they were shooting it. Yeah.
I thought you meant like they were filming the 60th. I thought, Jesus.
Yeah, they were doing it live.
Yeah. No, it's so weird. Like, 'cause obviously there was no break-ish between season 1 coming out and season 2, but it feels like somehow Russell's heard what we were saying.
Yeah, it's a weird thing,
and is so far writing a good season.
Yeah, I mean, season 1 was not completely awful. There were some good elements in there. I think for every episode we were like, we liked this, but we didn't like this. And that's kind of all of the episodes had that one thing that just threw them off the rails.
Yeah,
because it was like, oh, this.
What was your favorite episode from season 1?
God, probably Boom.
Okay.
Well, in terms of like ones I've rewatched, I tend to go towards Boom, and I've watched quite a lot of Rogue. I quite like Rogue now.
I didn't like Rogue.
I mean, obviously, like there's a few issues with like the characters and like as in the villains and what they're up to, like cosplaying and stuff like that. But generally, I think the vibe of that episode is good.
I think Dot and Bubble is my favorite.
Dot and Bubble is a strong one, I think. But then I think that finale really soured.
Out in Space Babies.
I don't mind Space Babies. I might be in the minority there.
Be quiet.
I don't mind it. Like,
oh, shut up, you Doctor Who glazer. You didn't mind Space Babies.
I don't. I mean, I didn't think it was. I mean, as an opening, like it's not. It's not my favorite. But like, if you compare
as an episode, it's awful.
But like, just generally, I don't think it's the worst thing that we've ever had. There are episodes
we've had Jodie Whittaker, but
yeah, there are episodes that I'd watch. Like, there are episodes that I would pick below it. This would be the worst.
I'd rather watch something to do with the Flux than Space Babies.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So, but overall,
because I couldn't.
Nah, but overall, this series has been a massive improvement on so many elements. I mean, should we talk about Belinda a little bit as well?
Yeah, she's all right.
Well, I think obviously she's a I hate to compare them, but it can't help. I can't help
She's
but
Donna.
do it. She's Donna, yeah, and that kind of that character is something that
She's
I've
not got
quite
the
enjoyed.
She's not. She's Donna, but hasn't got the like the snappiness of Donna.
The weird aggression of Donna.
Yeah, she's Donna. Then like, just what are you doing? Like, I don't know.
She is like Donna because, well, she's not like Tegan actually. She's not really as much like Donna. I think just that's the New Who comparison. But like in terms of Tegan,
oh sorry,
she doesn't really want to be there as much, and then sort of ends up keeps traveling, and keeps going until eventually. Well, I won't spoil her last story, but she kind of grows out of the Doctor. No, Tegan.
Right.
But no, she's a lot of fun, and I think her and Ncuti together are great. Like, I think the scenes at like the start of the episode, as we're sort of doing the arc stuff.
Oh, I very much prefer their dynamic than
yeah.
Ruby's dynamic,
because I think I saw a lot of stuff on like Twitter that said that Ruby, compared to if you had to pick between Ruby and Belinda, they'd pick Belinda. Because Ruby was sort of defined by her story and very little else. She didn't really have, like, a character, Because the Doctor and her never had that conflict. I think it was intentional to never have that conflict. But
yeah,
you kind of go, well, if you've not got a conflict, what are you really doing in these stories? But, like, Belinda is, she's useful. She's sort of going against the Doctor sometimes. And I think it works as just.
I don't think we've seen enough of that though.
Enough of just somebody that can carry their own.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen enough of it. To me, she's good. I like her. I prefer her to Ruby, but when I think about it, Belinda's just kind of there.
Right. I mean, I think...
Do you know what I mean?
I think that this is one of those things...
Apart from episode 1, where she stands up for herself and is like, blah, 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 blah. I feel like the rest... She's just there. She's not had her moment yet, where I feel like Ruby has had a moment.
Yeah, but I think that also comes from when...
for Belinda's dynamic with the Doctor than I did with Ruby's, but whatever.
Yeah, but I think that comes from when your character is, like, the centre of the story. Which I think...
I like the whole you scan me with, but the thing is, like, there's no repercussions from it. He just goes, "Sorry, babes," and that's it.
But I do like.
I want to see someone kind of actually clash with him. I mean, maybe we will see it. We're only 3 episodes in with them two, so.
But they do. It's like that sort of polite, because a lot of people in episode 1 were like, "This woman's never going to travel around in the TARDIS because she's not going to go on these adventures, and there's basically no story because, what do you do with a character that wants to go home? She's not going to dress up and go to Miami, is she? She'll sort of just sit in the TARDIS. So they had to sort of change her character slightly so that she would do that. So there is a bit of a contrast between episode 1 and 2. But I mean, I think without it, the fundamentals of the episodes wouldn't work. But I mean, well, should we do you want to do a little bit on Mrs. Flood and sort of the overall arc, or do you want to save that for the second part when we do the other 4?
Let's save it to the second bit. Let's just get the weird one out the way, the bad one out the way, the Christmas special,
right?
That we talked about in May.
Yeah, let's talk about Joy to the World. Blimey, right?
The Christmas special.
Go on. Do you want to go first, or shall I? Because I'm guessing you can't really remember it.
Stephen Moffat wrote it.
Yeah.
Did he? It didn't feel like a Moffat
script. He did write it. It was very much a Moffat script because of all the time stuff. He loves time stuff.
Yeah. Like the whole. It was just bad.
So I'll not counter argument. I shall contrast what you've just said by talking about some of the stuff that I liked.
You're going to tell me it's good?
Some of this, no. Some of the stuff I liked about the episode.
All right, I liked Anita
Yeah, that's basically what I've written down. Like, Anita's good. The bit in the hotel, like the idea of like a time hotel is a fun idea with the extra doors and the doctor being able to jump between all of them is quite fun.
Yep.
I think it's a big concept to do in an hour, and it feels weird when the story sort of detracts from it to then go to the hotel and do that that year with Anita and devote 20 minutes to that. And I think that it makes Joy like wasted. I think it makes it. I think they wasted
right, exactly.
Nicola Coughlan completely in this episode.
Yeah, they did.
Like, just when you come back to her, and I'm like, oh, I forgot you're in this kind of thing. There's a few nice moments for Ncuti, and there's a few nice scenes, but I think for the most part, it's not very memorable. I would like to point out.
No, it was rubbish.
I wanted to have a bit of a chat with you about this because I don't think we have had a chat about Joy to the World.
Perfect score.
So I want to talk about the ending though, Will, before you score it. You've already scored it, and I've not got to the end yet. I want to talk about the bit at the end with the COVID. And I just want to know what your opinion was of including COVID into it.
Star.
We could talk about the star thing as well, but I don't have too much strong of an opinion on it.
I don't care. I don't care, to be honest.
I don't know if it's in the best taste, the star thing. I don't know if that's in the best taste, but they did it. And I suppose the only show that can do it is Doctor Who.
All right.
But with the COVID bit, and I was going to say, I feel like it's quite offensive to do the COVID thing.
How you made her mum dust?
No, not that bit. That's a stupid argument because that's not what's happening in that scene.
Well, she did make her mum dust.
She doesn't. She sort of joins her.
Yeah, exactly. And the mum becomes dust.
At the moment, presumably when she
It's
died.
like Empire of Death all over again and equally as bad.
I just feel like it's quite offensive to try and give a story some emotion by including something that's from real person's pain. And I feel like Christmas, only 4 years or so after the event of COVID, is maybe not in the best taste. And I think that's where a lot of my distaste for this episode comes from. But I feel like it was being used to try and give some emotional weight to Joy and give her a character.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
And that's the thing that I'm not keen on.
No, I'm sorry. There are so many other dramas. I know you're not calling Doctor Who. There's so many other TV programs that have included COVID by somehow in this writing for the same reason. So, but it wasn't maybe done as strongly as other shows that have COVID as their main thing. But I don't think it was done distastefully. I don't think it was done. I think it was fine. It happened. Like, it's shit.
And it's that sort of that element that you said about it maybe not being the best that I think they were not.
Because it's
a difficult subject, isn't it?
So you're wanting a full COVID story?
No. I'm just saying
it just happened.
There's so many elements though. There's so many elements in this story you don't need more.
Yeah, but that's like saying, we can't do another. We couldn't do something that happened in. That's like racism. Like Rosa, for example, or even Lux.
Yeah.
But when that whole thing happened, that's it. That's the past. It happened. It's shit. But there's nothing you can do about it. There's no point in making like a whole story about that.
But those things were treated in that episode really well and done with like taste, and there's that element in Lux when the doctor says, that I just shine anyway until I'm accepted.
So how would you have wanted the COVID handled then? Because I don't think they need a whole sit down going, this is bad and we just need to move on with it. You get better with the time. Because let's be honest, we've all lived it. We all remember it.
I mean,
how would you have wanted it?
I mean, I don't have an issue with it being done. I have an issue with it being done as substitute for Joy's character.
I wouldn't say it's substitute for Joy's character. I think Joy had no character.
But the only thing about her is the fact that they kind of used COVID to try and get some sort of sympathy for that character and sort of drive for that character. and that's sort of all she's made up of.
Valid.
Oh no, she's
a one. But then I think that's on the writing of Joy, not the COVID.
It is. It all goes around
that's on the writing of Joy being so one-dimensional.
But
should we move on to a good episode?
Yeah. So, give me a score. I think you've already done it early for some reason, but hit me again with
5 out of 10, perfect score.
I've gone with a 4.
Okay.
I did question whether the 4 was maybe too generous.
Actually, no. Yeah, saying that. But I gave a lot of. See, it's so subjective because I gave so many stuff in Jodie's era a 4. Like, looking back now, would they be better? Maybe. Maybe I need to rewatch them, Jodie.
I occasionally will watch a few episodes of it. I will watch like Demons of the Punjab, which I didn't like, and then really liked when I watched it again. It's a weird sort of way that as times change,
I'm going to watch the Saranga Conundrum. That was absolutely my favourite episode.
Don't do that. Will and I watched that episode one night, didn't we? And we were like, "Oh my goodness, why did we ever?"
Yes, because I was doing research for a video that I never did.
We did, yeah, and that's why we ended up watching it and talking about it.
Yeah, because I was 2 episodes in, and the video was already 40 minutes long. I was like, Jesus, it was crazy. And then I could have done it an episode by episode, but then I was just couldn't be bothered.
Too much work. Gave up. Did something else. But yeah, Too much work. I've got a 3. Will, are you sticking with your 5?
No, I'll go for a 4 out of 10.
You're going for a 4.
Perfect score.
Sorry, I'm going with my 4. You're going with your 4 as well. Right. The Robot Revolution, Will, into season 2 properly now. This is the one that we're looking forward to these ones. Well, I've been looking forward to talking about these.
Okay.
Have you become an owl? What was that?
Woohoo!
Oh, right. I thought you said,
are you ready? Do you want my review?
Go on, hit me with it. Robot Revolution.
It was fine.
Anything else?
It was all right.
Do you know when you said that you didn't need any notes for this podcast?
Yeah.
Do you regret that decision?
No, because I think if you ask anyone to review the Robot Revolution, they will go, "It was all right. It's fine." That's all you need. That's all you need.
Well, I mean, I have written down some stuff. Some of it we've already covered. I think it's a really good.
Please don't tell me it's anything about how they treated the Doctor as this mass murderer in the hospital. I can't be bothered with another
no, it's not that. Although they definitely killed Alan. But it's not that.
Who's Alan?
Alan is the AI generator.
Oh, that was awful. Yeah,
when he's a sperm and an egg, and then he gets run over by Polish. And then
best character.
And the Doctor does just like a leg kick or like a high kick or something like that.
Slay or something like that.
He's like, "Go girl!" I can't remember now.
Queen or
yes, it's Yes
like
Queen. It is Yes Queen. I know the internet will be upset about anything.
I'll talk about the things I don't like about it.
Okay.
Crying.
This was a big thing last year as well, wasn't it? That we talked about.
Yeah, I didn't like his crying. Although there is an episode later that his crying makes sense. But how much more would it have given if we hadn't seen him crying over someone we knew for 2.5 minutes?
I do think the Sasha 55 bit is quite weak. Like, I understand the Doctor has this affection for them.
Sasha 55.
That's her name. That's the woman that.
Oh, I was thinking like it was an episode.
No, that's the woman that gets shot. That's Orphan 55.
Right. Oh God, no, that's really good. That
episode. But I think, like, from the audience point of view, I had no. Stop saying Benny. I had no connection to this character. Stop it. I had no connection to this character, and then we are sort of like supposed to
the Gregs
care about it.
The Greg's steak bakes are out to get us. Sorry.
Yes. What do you? I mean, I feel like our reaction or your reaction to Sasha 55 was very sort of, "Oh dear, that's bad."
Oh no! Well, the second she went, "You're going to show me the stars," I went, "She's dead."
I was like, she's going to last 30 seconds, if not less.
No, but it would at least make sense for her to sacrifice herself at the end, a bit like Tree Woman in season 1, series 1.
Yeah.
Because then there was a bit of an actual character. There was Jade, I think her name was.
It was, yeah.
Get in. See, I remember that. I didn't remember Sasha 55.
No, I think because when you've got an episode that's very full, it's difficult to do that. But I think it's important for Belinda to see
and change the episode.
But I think it's important for Belinda to kind of see like the horrors of the Doctor, and that kind of starts off this like I really don't want to be here kind of thing, like that you are dangerous and being with you is dangerous.
There's something I noticed that most of the people seem to haven't have noticed. It's along with it's along with the Belinda Chandra mystery.
Yeah.
When she's with the man who's been skipping ahead now. They run away, they teleport into a bunker, yappa yappa yappa.
Yappa yappa yappa.
Now at the end of it, everyone noticed Belinda going, "Is this your TARDIS?"
Yes.
What? She's not so TARDIS. What she also says is Doctor is Belinda Chandra kind, whatever they're called, like chest the same as Earth. This is before she knows that the Doctor is not a Belinda Chandra kind. There you go. No one's noticed that.
No, hang on.
Did.
But hang on. The context is she's asking if it's like her own biology, which the Doctor knows.
Yes, but how would he? How would the Doctor's a historian in her mind? So how would she know that the Doctor knows that it's the same as Earth, where they've never met Earth before?
No.
She factually, well, not factually, because it's almost the Belinda Chandra kind don't know what Earth is. So when she goes, Doctor, is it the same as Earth? That's another thing. It could be lazy writing, or it could be Russell being a bit clever. We never know.
You never know. It's like the TARDIS thing. It's like, was this a mistake? Was this a cut scene of them talking about the TARDIS or something like that, or was it intentional? And
that's intentional.
You reckon?
Because the TARDIS bit was fun. I think the Earth bit as well, but I don't know what's going to happen with it.
I feel like we've been down this rabbit hole before, though, and sort of picked up on essentially mistakes and seen them as being something else.
And it turned out she was just a normal woman pointing at a signpost.
And yeah, it was just a normal woman pointing at a signpost. I wonder why it snowed.
Ruby Road. But it was so bad. So bad. Sorry.
Although, I wanted to just talk about the villain of the episode before we move on. I quite like
Alan Budd.
Yeah, I really like the design and I like the character of Alan Budd. I don't know about you, but at what point did you understand what they were getting at with the character, and then they kept hammering it home?
Well, I thought they were going down a different route. So I thought there's something about him when he said, like, girls aren't that good at maths. Obviously, that could be a joke. You never know, but it's Russell we're talking about here. I don't think he put that in as a joke. So I thought, there's something there. What I thought they were going to go down was, like, video game. Like, he's enjoying it because it's a video game, and video games make you violent. I thought they were going down that route.
Oh, really?
So I did not like it. Yeah, because he was like, whoa, it's like a video game, and I can control, because obviously he's playing a game when the robots coming. I thought,
well, he kind of does though, because he says, is this like the game? Do I have like control over everything? And they were like, yeah. So I swear, but
so it's like either video games make him violent, or he's a misogynist or whatever it is. It's like, what? Incel.
Coercive control as well to Belinda.
It's just a bit. I think there were too many ideas going into Alan. Make him a incel. Don't make him a gamer who wants to. I wasn't a fan of Alan.
I quite liked him as a character. I thought, like, I didn't really see there being like too much of a mix of like different ideas, to be honest, because I saw the idea that he quite liked the idea he could control this world, and sort of started doing it, and then kind of got too involved and too into it, and it all kind of spiraled beyond his control. And he was
I think it was just the writing.
Yeah, and he was no longer really him doing it.
It was the writing of him being like, "You're telling me this is like a video game?" Like no one talks like that. It was just It was just cringe. It was cringe.
Do not insult Johnny Green. Don't insult Johnny Green.
Put it on the cringeometer.
I love Johnny Green. Have you got a cringeometer?
Who's Johnny Green?
The actor that plays that character, who does a lot of Torchwood Big Finish. Alan Budd. What I nearly did for this video, Will, is I nearly got a soundboard installed so I could make this joke. Have you seen Dark Place? Garth Marenghi's Dark Place? I'm going to go with no.
What's the joke?
There's a line. So the idea is that this is a character playing a character, and he thinks he's a bit of a snob movie fan, and he makes his own TV.
Before you move
and it's awful.
Before you move on to joke, can I talk about this one? This is the biggest thing I didn't like about the episode.
Can I do my joke first?
Or we're not.
It's relevant. It's relevant to the Alan Budd thing. It's relevant to the Alan Budd thing. That's
okay.
What I'm
Very
sorry.
Yes, of course you can. Yes, tell me a joke.
Yeah. So the gag in the episode is that he thinks he's like a really great writer, but he's not. And there's this quote which I can probably insert thanks to editing.
I know writers who use subtext, and they're all cowards.
And that's kind of how I feel about the scene in this episode when he talks about, when they keep going on about him essentially being an incel, and they keep like going at it. It's like, God, they're hammering it. Like, right, they've got it. Yep. I was working out that, he was coercive, controlling and all sorts like that. And they keep kind of knocking it in with like extra lines from Belinda. And it was that. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Will,
was that a joke?
It was from a comedy. It wasn't a joke.
It's from a comedy.
It wasn't.
Right, okay.
I just thought it would be funny if, like, we were talking about it, I would hit, like, the soundboard and it would say, I know writers that use subtext and they're all cowards.
That would have been good.
Yeah, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't work out how it works.
Anyways, the thing I disliked the most, the very minute thing, and we will talk about how Doctor Who fans, like, nitpick. It's the whole remembering, like, but your Monday flip. I don't like that.
Okay. This is one of those things that may come into relevance later, though.
Yes, but I'm all right. It was the way he remembered it. I should be at work on Monday. Monday. Are you kidding me? I literally went, fuck off. That's so bad.
You also... Should we reenact it? Shall I... If you do Belinda and I'll do the Monday Flynn line, and we can reenact it.
Okay, right. I was meant to be starting work on Monday.
Monday Flynn.
Monday Flynn of a Priest Anglican Marine.
A Priest Anglican Marine. And then it's like, whoa, hang on. I mean, I feel like the face would have given it away, but never mind.
Yeah, you would have thought. Anyway.
Yeah. Also, did you know that this... my girlfriend watched this episode, and she said it's exactly similar to an episode... it's very similar to an episode of Black Mirror, where a character comes into a new world, believes he has control over everything, and sort of invents... ways of torturing his... I think so. I think that's the one she was doing. I've not seen it. I've not watched it.
How have you not seen Black Mirror?
I've not seen Black Mirror.
Get her on the phone. Yeah.
But yeah, she was like, it's very much similar to that episode of Black Mirror. And she was like, and that kind of weakened it for her because she was like, I've seen this before. And done better.
Sorry, Dan, I know she's your girlfriend, but I'm going to have to disagree with her there.
Oh, yeah?
I think... Yeah.
You think what? You can't just go, yeah.
It's like, yes, that it's kind of the same how a guy goes to his own land and takes over and slowly tortures. But no, it's nothing like USS Callister. Sorry.
Okay, well, I've never seen it, so I can't judge. Will, do you want to give me a rating out of 10?
Oh, can I ask one more question about this episode?
Yeah?
The whole 9th word thing.
Yes. Are you gonna?
Did they just forget about that? When they meet Alan?
Yeah. No, it sort of works for a few seconds, and
his humanity is still in there because it skips every ninth word. But he's a baddie and deserves to be come on the floor. But you said there's still goodness in.
I'll soundbite that. A soundbite. You just go. He deserves to be come on the floor.
Right, cool. Next episode.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. That was a weird moment, but we'll move on. So, Will, you need to give me a rating out of 10.
6.5 out of 10. Perfect score.
I've gone with a 5. But I think this is a preemptive 5 because I think when we compare it to the rest of the series as well, I think that this will go down. And I think that, so I'm going to put it as a 5 because I'm like, yeah, I liked it. But do I want to rewatch it? Does it have, layers to it? Or is it just sort of like a setup of our new TARDIS team? Do you see where I'm coming from?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but all of that's about to change when we go into the next episode, which is Lux. Will, what did you think of Lux?
It was very good.
Very, very good. I just wrote yes, yes, yes for this one.
Yeah, because we're canon. Podcasts are canon. We'll get on to that.
Yeah.
And so are Doctor Who fans. So the Who pod is actually canon in Doctor Who.
I don't know if that's how it works, to be honest, because they weren't real.
I'll get Russell on the phone.
Just ring him up.
Hold on. Ring, 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 ring.
Hello,
faithful Doctor Who.
I wonder what it would sound like. I thought he's gonna do an accent.
Russell's here, Dan. Do you want to ask him a question? Hello, Daniel Johnson. You're of the Who podcast?
What?
That was really bad.
That's not even Welsh. Where was that coming from?
On the roundabout, we're talking about Doctor Who, yeah.
Well, we'll just move on for that very quickly.
I'm Russell T. Davis. Nice to meet you.
You sound a little bit more like Stephen Powell from Doctor Who Unleashed than you do Russell there.
Hello, I'm Stephen Powell. I'm behind the scenes of Pontypandy.
That is not the worst accent you've ever done.
The silly Norman Price starting fires in the village. Hello, faithful Doctor Who viewer. It's absolutely fantastic. We've got Ncuti Gatwa. He's absolutely brilliant. Russell's here. Ask him some questions.
I don't want to ask him some questions. I'm scared.
Oh, there's nothing to be scared of. Doctor Who is in safe hands. I want an interview with Russell T. Davis.
Not right now. I want to talk about Lux.
Do you want an interview with Stephen Powell?
not right now. You can come back later.
Do you want an interview with Norman Price from Fireman Sam?
No. He's not very relevant right now. Yeah, should we talk about Mr. Ringadig and move on from this weird moment?
Hold on. Someone's at the door.
Who's at the door?
I'm Peter Capaldi. Oh, I'm having the time of my life with this, Dan. This is fuck talking about season 2. Let's just interview all these people. I wonder if you clickbaited interview with Russell T. Davis. It's just me putting a voice on. People click. Hello, faithful viewer of Doctor Who. We're here talking Ncuti Gatwa and the amazing Verada Setu.
Do you think that you'll wear an outfit to make yourself look like Russell, or do you think it would just be you in your bedroom?
I could wear a shirt.
You can wear a shirt
buttoned all the way to the top.
We've got the glasses. We've got the glasses.
Got the glasses. Got the gay.
Yeah, we just need
the accent.
a better accent, really. Yeah, and we'll be sorted. Yeah. Sorry, Lux. Yeah, Lux. Ready for Lux?
Yep.
Will, do you want to talk about the animation in Lux?
The animation was good in Lux.
Did you like Mr.
Very good indeed.
Your answers are
I liked Mr. Ringading.
Yeah.
Ringading was very good. I liked... The only thing... What would have been nice with Mr. Ringading is if they used, cartoon logic against him.
Have you got an example?
I don't know if you've seen Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Some of it, yeah. I got quite scared by it.
What the? How the fuck are you getting scared?
Park that.
We'll dive into that another day.
Yeah.
You know, like, because obviously cartoons, they use the cartoon against him, like, so they need to run away. They draw a big black circle on a wall, and then that becomes a tunnel.
Right, yeah.
Something like that would have been nice.
Because it was like 2D.
Cartoon... Yeah, they use cartoon logic against Mr. Ring-a-Ding. That would have been nice. But apart from that, no, I enjoyed it. It was good.
I think when I watched like Unleashed and they were talking about how much effort went into him, you kind of go, so that's kind of why they disappear like 20 minutes into the episode, and that's why there's a nice bit at the start where you don't really see him, so that the animation budget doesn't need to be as high, especially when they're fully animated, as in the Doctor and Belinda are fully animated. That takes months and months and months to do, and Doctor Who isn't really capable of that. But I mean, the fact that it's done is just incredible. Like, all the animation stuff is great.
Good episode. The only thing I didn't get is like the whole pulling down on the frame. Like, I get, but they're not. But they're stuck in the frame, so how can they move the frame along by pulling the frame?
No,
I didn't understand that.
They're trying to, so that they can, as in like they can reach past the frame and pull it down.
Yeah. Exactly.
They are stuck in the frame because they escape, don't they, by like having like stretching out the frame so that it burns.
Yeah, but the whole like pulling it to make, I don't understand that. I wasn't a fan of the pulling. I like the whole that your character's got to have depth to become. I like that. That was a good little bit. Shall we just get straight to the bit that people actually want to talk about?
Can I just say before you do? I mean, I love the bit of the animation when he's being made like 3D, and he's able to.
Oh, when he's like Pixar.
Yeah, like as it goes through those transitions and those like slight variations of animation style, and then becomes quite hideous. I really like. Yeah, I thought that was really, really cool. Anyway, yes, hit me with your hot take of this.
It went on a bit too long.
Which bit was that? Sorry,
the fan.
The fan is we're talking about the fan bit. Yeah, I think so.
This episode's remembered about. It went on a bit long. I get it. But I'm sorry, you're telling me every single one's favourite episode was Blink. Come on.
It always scores really highly.
Yeah, it's a good episode, but it's not a person's favourite.
But he's not actually trying to represent what we're like. He's supposed to be like just like a generalization.
Why? Well, no. And actually, I don't want to talk about the fan bit because of your Doctor Who review. I wasn't too happy.
Oh yes, because you didn't get a mention.
Not the fact that you get a mention. The fact that you're like, the whole thing in that episode is, we became friends because of Doctor Who, which is literally why we became friends.
Yeah.
And in Daniel Johnson's YouTube review, he says, it's great because I have something to talk about my girlfriend's dad with. You ripped out my heart and stomped on it.
I'm against fan service like this and breaking the fourth wall. I think like you say, in small quantities, I think it works better. But I think when you're doing it so
obviously we've all heard. Let's not beat around the bush. We've all heard the theories that that the end of the season is gonna be it's
Gods of Ragnarok
show.
Watching the show kind of thing.
Yep. Do we still think that will happen, even though we've had the little fan bit?
I've seen comparisons that those three people are the Gods of Ragnarok, and they are watching the show. Or they're supposed to be like some sort of homage to those characters or to that villain.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I believe it. I feel like it's just Russell playing with the idea of breaking the fourth wall, which he really likes doing. and sort of being more like being self-aware and being whatever he likes.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of, what was Mrs. Flood's cameo in the first episode?
She was Belinda's neighbour.
Oh, she went, "Oh, you've not seen me," and ran away before the credits.
She went, you ain't seen me, and then she cleared off. Yeah, and then in episode 2, she's
I think
at the end, the nana or something like that with that lad.
Yeah, she's like, May 24th, it's ending.
That's yeah, and then she makes another appearance here. 2 more things that I want to talk about. The supporting character in this story, Reginald Pye. What did you think of his storyline and his wife that came through the screen?
Yeah, it was alright. We're cute.
I thought it was cute. I thought that it was shown really well. He played it really well. I'm not sure whether he had to sacrifice himself, but it's a good way to get him out of the story.
No, he didn't have to kill himself.
But it kind of meant that, well, what do you do with him after this point, kind of thing. I quite liked his character. I thought his character worked quite well.
Should we move on to the good episode now? Quick score.
I've got one thing to talk about. One more thing to talk about. I just want to say that I think Ncuti is the Doctor in this story. I think this is when he really comes to life as the Doctor, and I felt like he was really in control in this story. What score have you given it, Will?
7.5 out of 10. Perfect score.
I've gone bold. With this one. I've gone 9.
You say 9 out of... Oh, you're a nut job. What about next? What about the well? What about the well?
I have conflicting opinions on the well. But for me,
no,
looks...
Don't tell me you don't like the well.
Looks
you think looks is better than the well?
I mean, for me personally, it's
yes or no.
If I had to pick which story to go for, then I'd pick looks.
You prefer looks over the well?
Right, as we're getting into it, about the well.
No. You actually prefer looks over the well.
Yes, by the look of the scores.
Oh my god, no!
Well, maybe a 9
well was so good.
Maybe a 9 is too high, but I've maybe an 8. But I did really like this story. I think it's been one of the best that we'd watched.
Yeah. You got something about your girlfriend's dad to talk to, so that's true.
So I really like that one. Will, do you want to go into the well? You can go first.
Amazing, so good. Best Doctor Who episode in ages. It's in my top 5 episodes of all time.
For this one, I have written down myself a little note, and I said if Will talks about
Shooty's best story,
if Will talks about this one thing, he has to give me £1, but I'm not going to tell her what it is. So if you mention this thing while we're talking about the well, then you've got to give me £1.
Right. Well, I'm never going to see you.
What? You got to bank transfer me £1.
Oh god, no! I'm trying to guess what it is.
It's not to do with story.
Can I guess what it is?
No.
No, I think I can guess what it is. Let me type it.
You got to type it. It will appear on the thing, so hit me with it. Yes. Yes, it is. Yeah, that's exactly what I've written down. I've written if Will talks about Shooty's arse, then I get £1.
I didn't talk about it.
No. But yeah, Will, do you want to talk about the well?
Is there something you want to comment
is this why it's your favourite episode?
Arse?
Is this why it's your favourite episode?
No, it's my favourite episode because it's a really good episode. Love the Death Girl. What's her name?
Rose Ayling Ellis.
No, the character's name.
Alice.
Alice Fenley,
something like that.
And Alice Fenley, that's it.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Stole the show. Genuinely amazing. The reveal, we all knew it was midnight. But, it was still there. It was so good. It was genuinely, it's such a good episode. The Doctor felt like the Doctor. It wasn't a story happening with the Doctor in. It was the Doctor figured it out. The Doctor saved people. The Doctor, do you know what I mean? The Doctor was the Doctor.
Yeah. And so, because I suppose
So good.
This is the first time we've really seen a returning villain, I think. You know what I mean? So I think this is more in line with Midnight.
This is Doctor Who. This is why I watched Doctor Who, was for this episode. Base under siege. So the whole setup, the whole walking in, everyone's dead. And like, oh, let's just shoot her. No, you can't, because it'll go on to you if you kill me. It was so good.
There's one thing I don't like about this, and I want to know if you agree with me here.
Talk about the suits where they're just wearing the same thing as everyone else.
I don't have a trouble with that. I mean, the opening scene when those people don't recognize them, yeah, but otherwise it will make a really clunky opening. But the bit I've actually written down is when the Midnight Entity attacks and starts throwing them around. To me, I don't think you can ever make that look good.
The flinging,
yeah,
looks a bit circusy, but it's how they like. Some people land with glass going through their neck. Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously, there's no blood because it's BBC, but they're mangled. Like, the flinging will always look a bit. I think it went a bit over the top with the flinging as well. It got a bit silly
because obviously you build up to that point, and then the idea is that everything sort of goes mental, and then it just this sort of sequence of like POV shots and stuff.
What would have been better if we just heard like a load of crack of bones and then saw them as like a mess on the floor when the second that would have been quite good.
Yeah.
Anyway, but that aside, so good.
I saw something about it that I can't remember who said it, but someone said it, and you might be able to remind me about the idea of that sequence could have been shown from the perspective of Alice. And if it was shown from her perspective, then it would have probably been like you would have sort of filled in that gap of the idea of just seeing all these people fly across the room, because they'd fall from her sort of shot, so they'd more or less be in the background. I thought that would make it quite interesting.
So you'd hear it, but then as she looks, you'd see them crash.
Yeah, and then she'll see like there'll be like a panic on her face because as she goes round, and then behind her like bodies would fly across the stuff. I quite liked that
as well. The flinging. It was mentioned that the entity was again. It was playing, wasn't it? It wasn't doing it. It was doing it. It was purposely flinging them because it was just having fun.
Yeah,
that's what I liked. Like, it didn't need to kill him. It didn't need to fling him, but it wanted to because it was just having fun, and that was it. Just
it's also that idea of
glad we didn't.
Like, it has evolved beyond from what it was in Midnight. You know, it was like when it was copying, it was like its childish form, like sort of learning.
I wish we still had a little bit of copying.
No, yeah, so do I. I think there's room for it. You could have little moments of just like her repeating what people say and stuff like that. But I think what they're going with is that it's evolved.
Nice is when they shouted in the well into the hole, because obviously an echo, you could think, oh, it's just an echo, whereas. No, it's actually repeat, like, because he does it, doesn't he? Go hello, and you expect it to go hello back, and he's like, oh, like, nice echo. But then as he's just talking,
it
slowly is saying the same, and I think that would have been cool. And then that's when he's like, wait, it's repeating me, blah, 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 blah. And then that's when she goes, this planet was called Midnight. I think that could have been a perfect reveal.
Yeah, that would have been nice. I would have liked that too.
But you know, we didn't write Doctor Who.
No. What about our other supporting characters?
The woman that did write it that week did a fantastic job.
And Russell. Russell was also involved in that one.
Well, Russell will he'll look at it and change a few words.
Do you want to talk about some of the other characters that have that were in this story? The captain,
the Irish woman,
the captain, and we've got the.
I like the Irish woman.
I thought she was really good. I liked her performance. I thought her
Siobhan.
What?
Was that her name?
I think it's spelt Shayla.
Oh, is it Shayla?
But it's not Shayla.
Okay.
It's like, because I saw it in the subtitles as spelt as Shayla, but it's not. It was like Sean or it's something like that. No, I really liked her
Who
character.
knows?
I thought she was really interesting. The way that when she
Really good.
killed that I call him a
Yeah.
lieutenant. I liked that because I was like, oh, this is what all of those other people that were on this sort of mine died because of their own sort of paranoia and their own fear of it.
Yeah.
So she wiped out that when she wiped out him.
Yeah.
And
I
also go on.
The more I think about it, there's little things that are bugging me, but it was the whole, I've been running through a forest when she went to go sacrifice herself. Yeah. I was like, I've been running all my life. I thought, oh, fucking hell, here we go. Which was, if that felt very Waters of Marzi.
Yeah. No, yeah, definitely. I can make that.
I felt that maybe wasn't needed.
Yeah.
That whole like green screen run. I think maybe just a run in slow motion, a bit like such a river at the end would have been better. Of the Science in the Library, like just a slow motion run as he's chasing someone would have been good. The Doctor just felt like the Doctor to me. I thought it was really good. Everything was set up perfectly. Like, it was a bit Star Warsy. I'm the best shot in all of bit Star Warsy, but it had a payoff which was really good. And then there's two of them.
I was going to talk about the ending because for me the ending made me really like this episode. Because before I was like, I mean, I give it or take it, but at this point, when it ended, I was like, oh, that's cool, that's clever, because it's left more questions.
The only thing I'm a little bit like, ooh, was if the screen didn't show that there was 4 people. If it still showed 3, but she was like, what's that behind your back? It simply could have been paranoia, but the answer is that we don't know.
Yeah.
But because that screen showed 4, it's a bit like, well, no, there was.
We know that we know that one of them went away with Rose Ayling-Ellis's character. We know that there is one died with the captain back into the well.
One went away with,
because there was one on Belinda.
Yeah, so the one on Alice, wasn't the one that Belinda got.
No. There's the theory is that it's split, but we don't know how many times it's split. So let's say.
So when it saw itself, I really like the Mercury. That was clever.
Yes. So somehow
that felt like Doctor.
There's many ideas that you could have. It's split up into pieces so that you have like one went off with Alice, one went on the back of Belinda, and eventually the captain into the well, and then the other, possibly, if this even happened, or it's just paranoia, was on that other soldier. Because if you watch the episode, she seems really scared.
Did they not get it off? Did they not get it off Alice?
They thought so.
I don't think one was on Alice.
But on that thing, when they got into the thing, that you see 3 people.
Yeah,
but
I
4 on the scanner.
Mon, whatever her name was. I think it was on Mon.
You thought it was on that soldier character?
Yeah.
Oh no! My interpretation, which is why I really like this episode, is that there is 3.
No, my theory is, and you might like this one. It becomes a mirror, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What do you see in a mirror?
Yourself.
Maybe it's the whole, a bit like Angel. Image of an angel becomes itself an angel.
But yeah, I just love that ending of the well. I think, like you say, it's really up to interpretation of which way it splits and who is who, and who's got it behind their back, and that paranoia. I think I really like. Is there anything else, Will, or should we go on to the scores?
Let's just go to the scores. 9 out of 10. Perfect score.
I've gone with 8. Just because I quite like the sort of run around one, and this is quite a static story.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
That's simply that's the only reason why. Okay, Will, it's your lucky day.
Oh God, it was a slog.
Oh no, we've got very conflicting opinions on this one. Do you want to? Shall I go first, as you've gone first most of these times?
Yeah.
Okay, so I would say that at the beginning, the setup of their relationship is pretty slow, and I was a bit like, "Oh, I'm waiting for them to get to the point." And it's like, where is the point of this?
They have no chemistry.
They were fine. I mean, when he switches, his whole performance changes, and it's like, "Oh my, you're incredible."
That's when it gets good.
Yeah. Oh, so really,
the person that carries this episode is Kate.
Yeah. So okay, well, do you want to hang on? Tell me what you didn't like then. So you didn't like it before he revealed himself.
The first 20 minutes.
Right. We've got a very similar opinion then, really, because I was like, they're doing a lot of setup here, and I'm like, where's this going? But I understand there's no real other way to do that setup than to just do it.
I didn't realize how much Doctor Who needs the Doctor, because it was like this the last scene is the best scene in the show.
Yeah.
Or in that episode. Surprisingly, in a show called Doctor Who, you need the Doctor.
Well, I think for a Doctor Light episode, for like our annual Doctor Light episode,
Ruby and her two mums.
But for an annual Doctor Light episode, I think this is really strong. Because I think we need a change of pace from time to time.
It's a good Doctor Light app.
And I like the way he's sort of been sprinkled in, like, because he's in the start, he's sort of in a bit in the middle, and he's in 2 bits at the start, and he's that bit at the end, and he steals the show in that, especially in that final scene, like you talked about. The vile sort of nature of that conversation as they sort of stand up to each other is brilliant. It's like this iconic duo, like Doctor and Master standing next to each other. You know, it's a great moment, and the way he's like talking to him and saying, "Look, you want to amount to something, and you want to have this power, but that's not what you're going to get. You're going to die at the age of 49, and you're going to be bitter and alone." I mean, what horrible thing for the Doctor to say, when that shows how angry he is. And he did all that without crying.
And Mrs. Flood comes about.
And Mrs. Flood and makes.
The thing is, we know we see Conrad again, don't we? So
yes. Yeah, I'm so looking forward to that. I think he's going to be great. I'm just hoping that we don't end up with the same issue that we had in Series 1, where it's like, oh yeah, I'm really hyped for the finale, and it kind of disappoints us, because that setup with that character is excellent.
What, Conrad?
Yeah, it's brilliant.
I like the fact that, like, he's like, I don't accept your reality, and obviously it's called Reality Wars, isn't it?
It's Wishworld is beforehand,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can see something happening where Conrad will I can see him not necessarily being like a god or anything like that. You know, he's not going to be a big player, but I can see him being used as a pawn to be like, you go and wish for your perfect world, and then that's what causes our reality war, you know.
The whole, I'm the governess.
Yeah.
Do we think that's a name drop?
No. I think that was just her playing a character.
Some people are taking that as a name drop, aren't they?
Because they think that, like, she's the governor, like the Master's governor in The End of Time, and I just don't think that's true. I think it is just a coincidence. I think that she's just playing that character, just being like, well, I'm the governor, instead of because there's that moment when you kind of go, is she going to say what she is? Is she going to be like, I'm the Rani? No, she's the governor. But I think she's like God of Stories or something like that. I think she's manipulating everything. She's watching out for the Doctor's neighbours, and I think that there will be some sort of Doctor's companions, and I think there will be.
She is Disney Plus.
Well, she's Disney Plus incarnated. I think that
she's Disney Plus.
Because at first I was like, maybe she's like assembling what the Doctor needs for to win the reality war, or maybe now she's actually orchestrating events so that the reality war happens, including helping the Doctor in some respects.
Imagine we do a whole yoink and twist and turns out she's actually good.
But then why would she let Conrad out? Because then the only reason that she'd do that is because she's like God of Stories, and these things must happen in this order.
Yeah.
So she's like filling in the plot hole.
Could
I
be
guess.
Davros.
I mean, I have no idea about that. I mean,
I'm joking. That was a joke. She's not Davros.
should we? Is there much that you want to say about the monsters of this episode? The shrieks.
Torchwood ass villains.
They are very Torchwood. I think occasionally
Torchwood monsters.
You get these villains that are like, oh, they're kind of
Unit
cool.
are very Torchwood nowadays, though, aren't they?
I like that. I loved the Torchwood, the unit stuff in this episode, though. I think it's brilliant. Watching it essentially get unraveled, and watching how they cope with it, and that scene when he's like infiltrating the base and he's gonna presumably shoot them, whatever his plan might be. And Kate sort of stands up for them.
There were some kids on a school trip.
There was some kids on a school trip, but I guess this is just like, disguising.
Unit would let some like year 8 of St. Peter's into fucking
just don't touch the Hydron Collider.
Come see the Blinks. I love the Blinks. I don't
really.
I love the Blinks.
What I like most about the Blinks.
A lot of people are like, he's so pointless. They're like, yeah, but what I love is how we've just accepted there's a Blinks. Like it's just the Blinks is the Blinks. We just accept it.
I think he's a narrative tool, but I like the idea that like
to keep Nick Briggs on the payroll, but it's so
without making him do Daleks again.
Yeah, because there's no Daleks, and he can't find another job, so it's to keep him on the payroll. He's the Blinks,
and he's playing robots in the Robot Revolution as well.
Was he?
Yeah, he was the robots. But I like the Blinks because I just find him like a change of pace.
Do you know what? I really want a Dalek story.
Me too, doesn't everyone? But I mean, there's that moment with the Blinks when he when he's like, he's like, oh yeah, we're infiltrated, and then he like hides, he just disappears. The Blinks literally takes himself out of the story because he's a bit scared.
Hide. Yeah, no, it's good.
Did he have guns in the finale of last season? He had guns in his head, didn't he? Or something like that.
No, he did. He did.
He could have maybe used them to help. I feel like Lucky Day is like the backdoor pilot to the war between the land and the sea. I think.
Do we actually know anything about that?
We don't know when it's coming out, but we know that production has basically finished.
It's in post-production now,
it's been finished for a while, like initial filming. But it's in post-production, so I can see it. They'll probably push it back to next year. So it'll probably be, instead of Doctor Who, we'll get this. We'll get War Between the Land and the Sea instead. Which I don't mind.
5 episodes.
Yeah, which, I mean, I don't mind that. I feel like that's the best way you can play it. So, Will, do you want to give me your score for the episode Lucky Day?
7 out of 10.
Oh. I've gone with a 9.
Are you taking the flipping
because
dingle-dongle?
This sort of story is my favourite type of story. I love unit stories. I love Earth stories.
A 9 out of 10.
Is James coming to tell me off?
No, I'm just reviewing your scores. What did you give Lux?
My Lux score was, I think, an 8.
9 for Lucky Day, really? Yeah, I liked it. Not a 9 out of 10. What do you prefer more, Lucky Day or The Well?
But this is very much personal opinion. In terms of strength of episode...
No, you don't. He prefers Lucky Day to The Well.
In terms of strength of episode and general appeal, The Well is better. But for me personally, Lucky Day is like my favourite type of story of Doctor Who.
What?
Just Earthbound stuff and like invasion and like political threat is something I really like. I mean, when we come back to do the other 4, what do you think my opinion of that might change?
Just watch it again. I'm not saying it's a bad story, but it's not a 9 out of 10.
Okay, what I'll do then, I feel like 9 out of 10 is the stuff after the reveal. Because of the reveal, we're going to go with an 8.
So before the reveal, brings it down to an 8.
Yeah, because I think on a rewatch, like I've seen it twice, but I think on a rewatch specifically, that idea.
You're waiting for the reveal.
You are waiting for the reveal, yeah.
Whereas The Well,
You're
I'm
also
not
waiting for the reveal.
anything.
You're waiting till they get into that room.
No, you're not. No, you're not. Because there's tension from the start. There's no shock twist. The tension builds and builds and builds and builds.
Hmm.
When you first go in and see all the dead bodies, you're not waiting. When I watch The Well, I'm not waiting for, oh God, when's he going to say, when's she going to go, this planet was called Midnight. I'm not waiting for that. Because the tension builds and builds and builds and builds. Whereas Lucky Day, it just comes out of nowhere.
Hmm. No, I can agree. I can agree that it does sort of come out of nowhere, and it could have done with a moment of like, whoa, we need to breathe a sec, like, just hold back a second, let me process what we've just learned, like. But yeah, I wouldn't say that Lucky Day is my favorite of the series. I'm not sure what my favorite of the series is or will be.
You gave Lucky Day a 9, but you're not sure it's your favorite out of the series.
Like, no, yeah, an 8.
Is it your favorite so far?
An 8. It's basically
your favorite so far.
Probably, yeah.
Okay, that's fine. No, that's fine. That's fine. Everyone's up for an opinion. Yours is wrong, but you know. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. See you later. Bye.
Yeah. Well, Will, we're going to be back in like 4 or 5 weeks to do this again and do the other 4. I mean, how do you think our opinions are going to change? Do you think we're going to be sat there and we're going to go, no?
I'm going to wait for the finale because, like, last season was awful.
Are you ready to be burnt, basically? Are you ready to be burnt again by it?
Yeah. Because the Legend of Ruby Sunday was really good. The build-up was great.
Yeah.
And then I got absolutely shat on with Empire of Death.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm just waiting.
I'm going to wrap this up. So, thank you very much for listening. Hopefully you did enjoy it. We'll be back just in the first or second week of June to talk about the final 4 episodes.
September.
Did you say September?
Yeah, I just feel like doing it in September.
Okay, you just got a free week.
Yeah, I'm only free in September.
And we'll do the second load of these. But I hope you enjoyed it. What do you think's better, The Well or Lucky Day? Put it down in the comments below. Well, thank you very much for listening. Hopefully you did enjoy it. If you want to go and check out the podcast in other places, or you want to check out the other episodes, Will, where can you find the podcast?
Spotify, Spreaker, Deezer, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Podlover, Podchaser, Podbummer.
Audible. There's Audible now as well.
Audible.
And that's about it. So if you want to go and check it out, and also you can check out my reviews.
You have to pay for Audible.
No. Well, yes, actually, you do.
Is that not the? Who the fuck is paying to listen to this pod?
But yeah, we shall see you fairly soon then. All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Dan.
Bye, Will.